Hello, my name is Johan Sanaid, and I am the President of the National Authority for Quality Assurance and Accreditation of Education in Egypt. It gives me great pleasure to be here with you today. This presentation will explain the plans for the Pan-African Quality Assurance and Accreditation Agency, PAQAA, and the proposed phases of its development. The following presentation is supported by the Harmonization, Quality Assurance and Accreditation Initiative 2, PAQAA 2, funded by the European Union in cooperation with the African Union and implemented by a consortium consisting of Obriel Global, the German Academic Exchange Service, the European Association for Quality Assurance of Higher Education, and the Association for African Universities. PAQAA 2 is underpinning the African Union's continental education strategy, and particularly as it pertains to harmonization in higher education. Before explaining the PAQAA, it is important to understand its underpinning framework and political background. The Pan-African Quality Assurance and Accreditation Framework, PAQAA, is an African Union-endorsed framework that has a number of important action lines and tools, each of which are part of continental harmonization and improvement of quality and relevant higher education that support job growth and mobility. Some of the tools and action lines have already been established. For example, the African Standards and Guidelines for Quality Assurance are already endorsed and are being used, while some are still under development, such as the African Credit Transfer System, the ACTS. This figure shows the different action lines, international partners that are supporting them, and how they are linked to the Continental Strategy for Education in Africa and ultimately Agenda 2063 of the African Union. As an integral part of the PAQAA, the AU is committed to the establishment of a Pan-African Quality Assurance and Accreditation Agency, PAQAA, which should serve as a guardian body for the PAQAA action lines and tools. This agency will be a means to implement PAQAA and to promote and further develop its tools under strong African governance and political commitment. A technical working group appointed by the African Union Commission suggests 4 phases, which can be seen both individually or as progressive developmental stages. The African Union would like to know the opinion of important higher education stakeholders, which is why the PAQAA is being consulted. PAQAA's mission is to be the lead African agency to coordinate, promote, and facilitate the implementation of the Pan-African Quality Assurance and Accreditation Framework, PAQAA, in higher education sector as implicated in the PAQAA action lines. The PAQAA objectives would be to increase transparency of quality assurance in Africa by promoting the African Standards and Guidelines for Quality Assurance in Higher Education, to reinforce cooperation between national quality assurance agencies and regional quality assurance networks, to reinforce cooperation between relevant qualifications authorities on qualifications frameworks in Africa and globally, and to promote mobility and common tools for recognition with Africa and globally. So what are the proposed phases for development? This diagram shows 4 progressive stages for PAQAA, building towards the final stage. In phase 1, PAQAA contributes to the PAQAA action lines directly related to quality assurance and assessment, with the primary aim of promoting continental tools, facilitating collaboration and convergence between national quality assurance systems, and providing capacity development in external and internal quality assurance. In phase 2, PAQAA continues to have the primary aim of promoting continental tools, facilitating collaboration and convergence between national quality assurance systems, and providing capacity development in external and internal quality assurance. It also sets up a registrar or clearinghouse for national quality assurance agencies which comply with the ASGQA and would evaluate national quality assurance agencies on a voluntary basis. Phase 3 is more complex in that PAQAA would have the competency to accredit Pan-African institutions and transnational institutions in higher education sector. This implies that national quality assurance agencies in Africa would recognize its accreditation decisions. Accreditation on individual higher education institutions would not be a feature. However, PAQAA could offer a voluntary program for institutional assessment aimed at building capacity for internal quality assurance and alignment with the African Standards and Guidelines for quality assurance and with the AQRM. Phase 4 is the long-term vision for the PAQAA, in which it fully delivers upon its mission in overseeing all action lines of PAQAA, including those which are underdeveloped or still to be developed, such as the ACQF and the ACTS. PAQAA intervenes as a mega agency not only for quality assurance and accreditation in higher education, but supports recognition of higher education between countries using continental tools and frameworks, including the Addis Convention. It could support national referencing to qualification frameworks to the ACQF in the higher education sector and work with other relevant units or bodies that oversee the ACQF and its implementation. This slide shows how the phases progress. In theory, PAQAA's development would be most easily commenced in phase 1, though it could be envisaged that if the conditions are in place, phase 2 can be the starting point. The development of the agency could stop at any of the phases, though, as stated before, phase 4 would offer the most coherent way to coordinate and implement all action lines of PAQAA. However, phase 4 is dependent on other tools of the PAQAA being well established, like the ACQF. Hence, it may be wise to progress towards phase 4 over the next 5 to 7 years. On all its development state phases, the PAQAA will have a number of functionalities and activities. These include standard setting for continental quality assurance, quality promotion, promoting a common language in quality assurance in Africa, capacity development for internal and external quality assurance, quality assurance agency review and possibly accreditation of Pan-African institutions, information management, and advocacy. The agency is not conceived as an association of existing entities, but as an autonomous decision-making entity with legal personality. Such a continental agency has no precedent in the world, but the African Union would like to know the opinion of important higher education stakeholders about its legal structure. Some options are that the agency could be based on a membership model, whereby member states of the AU are members, or whereby national quality assurance agencies or equivalent bodies become members, or the agency is based on an alternative membership model to the above, whereby higher education institutions and other higher education stakeholders could be affiliated. The architecture of the agency is also being consulted here. It is generally foreseen that the PAQAA will have a General Assembly, Executive Board, and Secretariat. In phases 2, 3, and 4, a register committee is proposed to manage the register of quality assurance agencies. Your feedback on these bodies and the role is welcome. The PAQAA would need to interact closely with different stakeholders. Several of them may be in its governance structures. Others will be its beneficiaries. These include African Union member states, national quality assurance agencies, regional and continental quality assurance networks, national qualifications authorities, regional economic communities. Their role and involvement may evolve depending on the phases. Finally, the AU would like your feedback on the above issues presented. Kindly use the following link to access the survey, as well as further background information on the PAQAA. The survey is available in all 4 languages of the AU. Thank you.